Bet horse racing on DRF Bets. We'll match your first deposit of $200. Get free expert picks and past performances, plus weekly cash back. All from Daily Racing Form, the most trusted name in horse racing. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. It's Oklahoma Classics Day at Remington Park on Friday, and the feature race is race number 9. It's the Oklahoma Classics Cup. We're going a mile and a 16th. Let's take a peek at this field. $175,000 is the purse. It's a good field of versatile horses. It seems that these horses can run on anything, whether it's turf or dirt. And your morning line favorite, the number 6, That's Something, just missed last time out on the grass, coming off of a big win against second-level allowance horses. It just looks like this horse shows up each and every time.
Yeah, it does. And it also feels like he might just, finally be in the best form of his life. That I don't think anything that he did prior to the race 2 back in September would make him anything close to the morning line favorite in here. But his last 2 races are good.
The key to this race could be the pace. We'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector, and last year's winner of this race, the number 5 Absaroka, is expected to be on the lead. How fast Absaroka has to go, that's the key to the race. Because if Absaroka can walk the dog off of his last race, his first start in about 10 months, he should be able to take a step forward. He was sort of a rags to riches story last year.
Yeah, he was, and he got really, really good too. And, having the early speed at his disposal was a really big part of that improvement last year, Dan. I do think they're going to make the lead with him in here. There are a couple of horses to his inside who are fast enough to keep up with him. And if they push him up on the pace, this could set up for a closer.
A couple of 3-year-olds break towards the inside. The number 1 is Beckett's Luckyday, who won a stakes race at Will Rogers Downs earlier this year over sloppy track against fellow 3-year-olds. He's coming off a solid runner-up effort, though, in his second start of the form cycle. We'll take a look at that race right now. He was 19-1, as he will on Friday. He broke from the inside post, and Beckett's Luckyday is going to end up running an okay second.
Yeah, I thought he ran okay in this race, Dan. I didn't think he had, some kind of major excuse. I'll just say that about him. It does say, if you look at the short comment, it says he got shuffled and had come 5. What I guess is technically true. I didn't think he was winning regardless. I just thought he ran an okay race here.
But it was an improvement in his second start back. Maybe he could take another step forward, which he'll have to do against these older horses. Breaking from the inside post, he's likely to settle in mid-pack behind the solid pace. Cherokee Legacy is the number 2. This horse taking a big step up in class. He just won a maiden special for Oklahoma breds in this start. What's perhaps most impressive about this race, it was his first race back since February. He was involved in a pace dispute, although the pace wasn't very fast. He was just better than these horses, and maybe he's blossoming at the right time.
Yeah, he could be. He certainly improved to win this race. It kind of felt like he only had one horse to beat, though, Dan, and he wound up beating that horse. The other 4 horses involved here are way, way out of it and really didn't do anything. So while he improved here, that's all well and good. He's got to improve again, and he's got to improve a lot.
One of the better Oklahoma breds in training is the number 3, Number 1 Dude, who's going to be making his second start since June. They ran him on turf last time out. No problems. He won that race, the Red Earth Stakes. He's done good work on dirt. He finished second in this race last year. And he's a horse that can lead or rate. He's just versatility in a bundle.
Yeah, I wonder how aggressive they'll get with them here, Dan. I wonder if they'll decide that they have inside position on Absaroka and try to, go to the front here, because he's capable of doing that, but he's also capable of sitting and still running his race, which he did on turf last time. We'll see how they play it. I feel like they have to kind of be aggressive with them here if they want to win.
And here is Number 1 Dude winning his first start since June in the Red Earth Stakes on the turf. And you notice the tactical speed allowed him to find a good position. He was able to attack at just the right time. And he's also all hard. He's won 8 of 14 lifetime. He's also 5 of 7 on the main track. So he's coming into this race in very, very good form. The number 4 is Frigerator. This horse scored last time out at Fairmeadows, Tulsa on the lead. It was a non-winners of 2 life, going 6.5 furlongs. Frigerator went right to the front in that race, and he held everybody off. Hard to believe that he's quick enough to make the lead in here, even though he is stretching out. He'll be stepping up into a stake for the first time.
Yeah, more than anything else, I think that is what works against him. I think this is a pretty significant rise in class. Listen, he did what he had to do there. He got a great ride, I thought, and he took advantage of it. I don't know if he can make the lead in here. There are a couple of fast horses to his inside.
And one to his outside. And the number 5, Absaroka, the expected pace setter on Timeform US's pace projector, a horse that moved his way from $30,000 condition claimer to Oklahoma Classics Cup winner in 2021, and then backed up that form with a good third against Open Company in the Hawk Memorial. Now, his most recent start was a bit of a disappointment. He was the favorite that day. He went to the lead and he tired, but it was his first start off a layoff, and I wonder if they were just prepping for this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they had to get a start into him if they wanted to come back here and defend their title. They got the start into him last time. He did get tired in there, but it's not like, he was loose on the lead, Dan. I thought the pace was pretty solid. They were pushing him up there, and he just got tired through the stretch. It might set him up perfectly to defend his title here.
The 6 is That's Something. We just saw him finish second as the favorite behind number 1 Dude in that Red Earth Stakes, but we'll go back to his prior start on dirt. And this race is at a mile at Remington on September the 7th. And That's Something ran very well this day. He just blew this field away, swept by them all. Solid 82 Beyer speed figure, a horse that's been in the exact in half of his 18 lifetime starts.
Yeah, I mean, he ran really well here. He got a great trip in this race. That's Absaroka down on the rail there, getting tired after, sort of contesting the pace for a long way. This horse just sat a perfect trip away from everybody. He was clear at the top of the stretch. He runs right by. And as we've already sort of alluded to, Dan, he came out of it and backed it up with a really good effort on turf last time. He's in the best form of his life.
The 2020 Oklahoma Classics Cup winner is up next. The number 7, Don't Tell Nobody, who's been claimed out of his last 2 races, maybe not in the form he was in 2020, but to me, he has a puncher's chance if the pace is really hot.
Right. I mean, he looked good winning this race a couple of years ago. I don't feel like he's the same horse now that he was then, but maybe this race just sets up really well for him. I do think there's a chance that he catches something to run at here.
Another horse going turf to dirt is the number 8, Cowboy Mischief. And it's questionable what surface Cowboy Mischief is at his best. I wonder if it's turf. He won an allowance race on the grass 3 starts back. But he's another horse making his second start off an extremely long layoff. And I think he gained a strong amount of fitness when 4th last time out in that turf race we saw behind number 1 Dude.
Yeah, I thought he ran okay in that race too. I'm sort of with you. I don't know which surface I feel like is his best surface. And more than anything else, it sort of held me back of wanting to get too high on his chances here. But he is a horse who can certainly run his race on dirt. And he's another one who could just sort of make sit and make a little bit of a run late then if this pace gets fast.
The 9, Cruisin Cue, has winning experience on Oklahoma Classics Day. He scored at 54-1 last year in one of the starter sprint races, and he won his most recent start. He was in for a $10,000 tag, but let's watch that race going a mile and a 16th. It's not like there was a ton of pace on for him in here, and he came rolling from out of it. He wins races at big prices, especially when the pace is solid.
Right. One of those horses who tends to outrun his odds, and he's going to be a big price in this race, it feels like, as well. We'll see if they go fast enough to set it up for him, Dan. He's got, a race or 2 that would give him some kind of chance.
It's a really solid race for some hardy Oklahoma breds. You can go many different directions. As we take a look at our top selections for this race, we're both going with the speed. And I think Absaroka gained a lot of fitness from the last race. I think he's faster than the horses to his inside. And I think he's going to run back to his race from last year, Mike.
Yeah, I think he's going to be tougher in here, too. I think he had to really need that race last time, and it might set him up perfectly. I did think That's Something, maybe he is the horse to beat just because his last 2 races are so good, but I don't think I would bet him as the favorite, Dan.
Same superfecta, different order. 5638 for Mike, 5683 for me. It's the Oklahoma Classics Cup on Oklahoma Classics Friday at Remington Park. Good luck.